Alright, yo, what's going on YouTube? Sean here, aka Memorize. Today we have Vita Carnis Living Meat Research Documentary full footage. Now this is all I could find on Vita Carnis, and I'm pretty sure this is related to Vita Mimic from Village Chase 2, and someone actually requested me to react to this, so we're gonna see it. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else related to Vita Mimic y'all will also want me to react to. But without further ado, make sure you hit that like button, comment your favorite part of the video, and let's click play. Warning, this video talks about and shows imagery of graphic content like gore, violence, death, flashing lights. Viewer discretion is advised. Classified material. Federal law provides severe civil and criminal penalties for the authorized viewing of this footage. Any reproduction, distribution, or display of this video is prohibited. The possession of this footage may lead to the investigation and detention. If released from custody, the apprehended will face a penalty of $500K. Well, I don't have that, so maybe I should click off now.
On planet Earth, life has thrived for millions of years. Creatures big and small have found ways to adapt and evolve to flourish in all types of environments.
That's true.
From barren wastes to lush forests, life can be found. Earth has homed these creatures since the dawn of life itself. Only until very recently, things have changed. New life forms have appeared all around the globe and completely changing the balance of nature and what we know about evolution itself. That is why we, at National Living Meat Research, have been studying these new species, trying to help educate everyone about these creatures and their wondrous ways of life.
Okay, let me know.
First, what are these new life forms?
Yeah, what are they?
Since their explosive arrival across the globe in 1931, there has been much debate on what these newcomers are, and where they came from.
Yeah, talk to me.
Are they extraterrestrials coming to invade Earth? Or are they demons who come from hell to purge humanity?
I don't know, sir.
From what our scientists have discovered, no. The origins of these creatures are solely to Earth, miraculously out of nowhere. We don't know why or how, but one thing is for certain, Earth is now their home.
Okay.
What these creatures are is mysterious and still not well known today. But here is what we do know. These creatures are comprised mainly of muscle tissue, organs, and bones. They greatly resemble animals with no skin, or store-bought meat. Because of these characteristics, they have been named accordingly as Vita Carnis. The Carnis species consume decaying, organic matter, but their main diet is composed of raw meat, not including their Carnis relatives. The Carnis only appear in places where there is an abundance of crawl, which leads to the first creature of the Carnis species, the crawl. The crawl is a growth of meaty tendrils that closely resemble the small intestine, the only difference being the dark red coloration. These tendrils grow in a similar pattern as vines, mold, or fungi. A primary stem structure is the host to divisions of other, smaller branches. In each tendril contains a variety of veins, arteries, and other similar organs used to transport nutrients absorbed from its surroundings. The ends of these tendrils are equipped with organelles used to absorb water and organic matter necessary for growth. The source of these organic materials is mainly found in dirt and soil on surrounding surfaces. Using its root-like tendrils, it absorbs the material and processes it into usable energy. Although, the crawl also obtains energy through another means.
What's that?
Using a sophisticated form of photosynthesis. The dark pigmentation of the smaller branches is ideal for absorbing sunlight, and therefore allowing solar energy to fuel the crawl's growth. Because of its efficiency, it thrives in almost all types of environments, easily allowing it to spread across the world, and can be found pretty much anywhere.
Wow.
Its recent inclusion in the ecosystem has caused many major changes in nature's balance. One may assume that the crawl's presence may outcompete any other competitors, but due to its unique life cycle, where old branches fall off and decay into nutrient-rich compost, all forms of life seemingly flourish instead. The crawl's abundance grants plenty of nourishment to all animals, from plants feeding on the decayed crawl, herbivores thriving on increased plant population, and carnivores feeding on both the abundant prey, and are able to eat the crawl as well. The presence of all these animals leave behind waste, which will be broken down and consumed by the crawl, and the cycle begins again. This form of symbiosis leads to an environment where all populations thrive. Humanity also uses the crawl to our advantage.
How?
Because of the supernatural rate of growth and its richness in nutrients,
What is that?
it has been sustainably cultivated into domestic farms. The crawl is harvested and processed into fertilizer, which greatly increases crop yield and quality. The crawl may also be used as a food source for humans, and reliably so. But due to its unkindly appearance and taste, it has yet to reach cuisine standards.
Yeah, it looks disgusting.
The crawl also plays a very important role in the next creatures that we have been studying. Sometimes, in a crawl-populated environment, a node of meat may develop on one of the branches. This node will fall off and grow into a functioning organism, and go to live on as an independent animal. This leads us to the upcoming species that we will be discussing. The first of these creatures are the Trimmings. The Trimmings. Trimmings are small animals that resemble skinned raccoons. They are commonly known to have a plump body, round head, small eyes, nose and ear holes, and an agape mouth. They are also equipped with a diversity of limbs. All individual Trimmings are unique, each with a different body shape, number of limbs, and other characteristics.
What the world? That's like a glue spikes.
One thing they all share in common is that they are made mostly of meat tissue, and are a maximum of 20 centimeters in length, no
Okay, so you
larger
can just
than a
stop it out.
basketball.
Yeah, you can just stomp that out. Easy.
Its life starts with its separation from the crawl. It will wonder to find anything that is edible and able to consume. Although it is an omnivore, being able to hunt meat and forage for plant matter, Trimmings are almost entirely scavengers. Their diet consists of rotting plants and meat, including, but not limited to, fruits, vegetables, roots,
Hey,
seeds,
they
insects,
don't worry about
and
us, y'all.
deceased animals.
We in the clear. Let's get it.
Although its appearance
Oh!
is unsightly, it is a cowardly creature, only fleeing,
I'm burning it.
screeching,
I'm burning it.
and
I'm burning it.
hiding
Bring in a
when threatened.
flamethrower and I'm burning that. What is that?
Because of its lack of defensive traits, it lies near the bottom of the food chain, making it easily overpowered and picked
Yeah,
off very regularly
you're
by
sorry. Even rabbits
predators.
can kill you. That's how you know you're sorry.
Naturally, its population would eventually die out. This is not the case.
What is that? What is that?
The crawl constantly produces
Keeps
a large
glitching.
quantity of trimming nodes, keeping up their numbers. Naturally, Trimmings can be found wherever there is abundant crawl.
So they
Trimmings grow
worldwide?
at a decent pace, reaching maturity at around 7 months, having a maximum lifespan of 2 to 4 years. Although they
We
are
outlive
plentiful,
y'all by
humanity
far.
has no proper way to implement Trimmings into society. Their overabundance has even considered them pests,
Yeah, they are.
due to them digging through trash bins and making excessive noise at night. Besides all of this, some people still keep Trimmings as pets, and relatively domesticate them. Nuisance or not,
Well, that thing
Trimmings
is
are a wondrous
terrifying.
creature. From their plentiful numbers, to their skittish nature, they are truly a thing to behold.
It's hard to look at.
The next species on our list is the meat snake.
Oh, nah, I don't do snakes. Oh, I don't even do normal snakes.
meat
What are
snake.
these glitches? The
The
meat
meat snake is a worm-like creature, made of a variety of types of meat, coated in a transparent, skin-like membrane. Its size varies during its lifespan, depending on how much it consumes. When it first separates from the crawl, it is only a few centimeters in length. Eventually, it will reach an average length of 5 meters. Although,
What?
under extreme conditions, like natural disasters, war, or plague, it can greatly surpass this length.
It can?
The meat snake's diet consists entirely of dead animals or parts. A meat snake is incapable of consuming a healthy, living organism.
Okay.
The meat snake allocates its food by using a tongue-like organ covered in sensors to touch and feel its environment. The sensors catch particles of decaying meat, notifying the meat snake that there is food nearby. This process shares many similarities to regular snakes, hence the meat snake's name.
Okay.
Once it locates the corpse, the meat snake will open its jaw and swallow the entire body whole.
What?
Once the entire body is consumed, the meat snake's stomach will release a variety of chemicals. Some will break
That little
down
thing ain't
soft
that big,
tissue like
Moose?
skin, and the connection points between muscles. Others chemicals will then ferment and preserve the tissue to keep it from breaking down for as
I
long
think
as
snakes can
possible.
actually do that though. I think.
After that, the remaining flesh and
still
bones
freaks me
will
out.
move along the meat snake's tract and slowly be implemented into its own structure, extending the meat snake.
Wow.
Unsatisfactory parts like skulls, pelvises, hair, and fingernails will be excreted. Speaking of skulls, the meat snake will take the skull from the consumed organism and use it as its own. Each meat snake has its own skull, each corresponding to what that one has consumed. During its lifespan, it will swap or replace these skulls if needed. A meat snake's lifespan depends entirely on how much a meat snake consumes. The longest one has lived for was 28 years.
That's a
The
long
meat
time.
snake has no predators and is immune to disease due to its preserving chemicals. The only significant ways a meat snake can die is through starvation, burning, or complete
Oh, yeah,
destruction of the meat
flamethrower.
snake's membrane coating.
Flamethrower. You already know.
Interestingly,
You get it?
the meat
Look
snake
how
is
big
the
that thing
only
is.
member of the Carnis family that is able to reproduce. When a meat snake reaches an excessive size, and is in the conditions to do so, it will commence mitosis, splitting itself in two. Then the now two meat snakes will go on their separate ways and live on as two distinct organisms. Meat snakes can only be found in moderate temperature climates, not too hot, not too
Oh
cold.
my gosh.
Their
In my
population
climate.
depends entirely on the amount of corpses available. Where there is death, there are meat snakes. Humanity will use them to our advantage. Meat snakes are a very efficient and clean way of disposing of any meat products. The preserving fluid within the meat snake's body disinfects the carrion, preventing the spread of disease. Humans use meat snakes in butcher shops as a waste bin, dispose roadkill, within war on the battlefield to dispose of festering bodies and parts, and within zoos to dispose of deceased animals. They are extremely tame, not caring if any creature is around them, only acting defensively when it is within consuming a meal. This
Oh,
means they are
okay.
very easy to tame.
Okay. It still looks
Overall,
terrifying. Look at
meat
it.
snakes are a marvelous creature with a very interesting way of sustaining itself. It is an amazing experience to encounter one, as long as you don't mind the smell.
I do mine.
Our next creature is the mimic. The mimic. The mimic is a
Bro, it's
bipedal
Vita
creature
Mimic.
with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin, with added exaggerated features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging,
That thing looks
empty
creepy.
eyes,
Look at it
and their
smiling.
most prominent feature, a wide, teeth-filled smile. Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence, and is only how their facial structure is shaped. The maw of the mimic contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing
Yeah.
chunks whole. A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
Hello?
Because of this, they are found solely around human-populated areas.
Why is it
The
always near
mimic's
me?
life cycle is made of 3 stages. In the first stage, a young mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin, sleek, and only have 4 appendages. In this stage, the young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow.
That's like I said,
Once
they only
large
eat
enough,
humans.
it will begin metamorphosis
You right there
into
watching.
the next
Like,
stage
bro,
of life.
I get it.
Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning. Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complicated. It now stalks and feeds only on humans. It will locate human-populated area and begin its search for an easy target.
How do you
To
take it
blend
down?
in, it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture. Once a target has been found, the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable. This is typically when the human is asleep at night.
Wow.
Once the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The mimic will then execute and immediately begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal. Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either startle prey into cornering themselves.
Why that
Once a
sound so
human is in
real?
place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
What? Real life footage? I ain't expect this. No, I'm not ready for this. No. Wait a minute. I wasn't ready for this. Y'all, I thought it was just I didn't know I'd do that. No, I didn't know. Go back to the old dude. Go back to dude. Go back to dude. Narrator. Go back to narrator. I don't like this. I'm about to throw up. I don't want to play. You hear this sucker trying to get in? No. Leave me alone. Go find your next target, sir. Leave me alone, sir. I don't taste very good, sir. You like burnt food? That's what I am, pretty much. I'm not chocolate, I swear. You hear him? Mimic, leave me alone. Mimic, leave me alone. I played you in the game, sir. You have cool moving features. Can you leave me alone? Sir. Mimic. It's your boy. Our names are kind of close, you know? Mimic and Mimi. You know what I'm saying? Hello? Girl, you be mad loud. You know that? Okay, she did. Whoever that is, she did. Okay, can we not do that no more? Let's stay away from that.
Two potential morphs it may develop into.
Scared me so bad,
if a mimic has a consistent supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to a human being.
What?
It now can blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively. The second type of morph
you can go on a date with a baddie and turns out you're gonna get ate by a mimic? Are you serious?
It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in length, and its humanoid features will fade away. It grows a thick, dark coating of a flexible skin, which is highly durable, and increases in strength the more the elder mimic consumes. This excludes the face, which is now coated in a pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat, leaving its mouth a toothless grin. It uses the dark hue of its skin to hide seamlessly within a dark environment. Its skills have also been heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet. Because of the obvious threat this poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic encounter.
Please, tell me. I don't want to be just like that girl.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics, or there have been mimic sightings.
Okay.
2. If you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and alert your local authorities. 3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route. 4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic, roll into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people. 5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time. Instead, use it as a barrier between you and the mimic to block any attacks. 6. In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area, and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey, and will move on.
Be safe, and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs.
Bro, I'm just moving to the next continent, bro. I'm out of here.
Next up, the Harvester.
The who?
The Harvester.
They looking shit did mimic glass. That sounds like the scariest one.
The Harvester is a large, bulbous mass, with a large amount of tendrils spreading from the base. The bulb measures around 3 meters in height and 2 meters in diameter. The tendrils, on the other hand, can extend up to 150 meters in diameter horizontally. The harvester is a specialized form of crawl that grows in a unique and deadly way. A harvester is created when a node, that will grow into a harvester, instead of separating, continues to grow. Eventually, it will grow tendrils of its own. It uses the energy provided by its mother branch and expands its reach further. Its tendrils, hidden just below the surface of the ground. The harvester is equipped with 2 types of specialized tendrils. The first type is bulky and flat. They lie the closest to the surface. These branches are lined on each length of the tendril with spines, extending in the shape of a bear trap. On each side of the branch, those particular spines have a vein that feed into them, that pump 2 types of venom. On one side, the spines can inject a neurotoxin, which will attack the nervous system of whomever it is injected into, causing sudden paralysis. The other side can inject an anticoagulant, which when injected, prevents blood cells from clotting. Whenever a large animal moves across the area armed with these tendrils, the branches will clamp onto the animal and thrash violently. Once the prey has been injected with both venoms, the tendrils will rest and the prey will immediately collapse. The animal will be unable to move due to the paralysis, and the wounds caused by the thrashing spines will not stop bleeding. All the prey can do is lie patiently, until succumbing to blood loss.
Wow.
Once the prey has bled out, the second type of tendrils come in. They lie below the spine equipped
That's
once.
actually terrifying.
These branches are thick,
You gotta sit
but
there and
very
die.
sturdy. They share similar anatomy to the small branches of the crawl, equipped with organelle that absorbs nutrients. These tendrils sense the blood, and move their way to the surface and begin to absorb the vital fluid. Once the blood has been consumed, the tendrils will wrap around the body and begin to shuffle downwards. This movement loosens the soil and slowly pull the body underground. Once secure, the tendrils will continue to feed until there is nothing but scraps. The nourishment absorbed by the tendrils will be sucked back into the main bulb of the harvester. This bulb houses all the vital organs and the venom glands that pump into the spines. The nutrients are then converted into usable energy.
Oh, so you shouldn't get so close, Mr.
The remains
Photographer.
underground decompose, providing a rich soil, causing very prominent plant growth, which then attracts more animals.
No.
A strange behavior the harvester displays is its choice of diet. The spines will only activate on larger animals, allowing smaller ones to pass by unaffected. The spines will also not activate on some species of bird. There are a couple theories as to why this happens. One, it could be that attacking smaller animals would cost too much energy for what they get in return, making it not worth the time. Another, could be that smaller animals may attract larger animals or predators, allowing a safe place where prey may thrive, and lure more predators. It truly is
true.
astonishing.
It's like it's smart. You serious?
Although it is a spectacular creature, it is also very dangerous.
Yeah, I know.
The harvester is decently rare, only populating sparse areas in the northern
Always
hemisphere
near
and woodland
me.
forests.
You hear that? North. I'm sick.
If you are stung by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure,
You're
and
dead.
fatality is 100% positive.
Wow.
The best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place. If you
Yeah.
are hiking, take note of any warnings or signs saying that there are harvesters
I
around.
will, and I'll go right home.
If you also notice an abundance of lush, ground-dwelling plants in a forested area, and there are no signs of wildlife, this is suspicious and you should leave the area,
I will.
staying close to the base of large trees or rocks. If you find yourself in the middle of a harvester ground, do not panic. Sudden movements may activate the tendrils and will inject you. Although a harvester is rather forgiving, do not risk any skittish movements. Remain calm. If you have any objects with considerable heft, like coats, backpacks, or full water bottles, gently take that object and lightly toss it towards the bulb, and away from your escape route. This will activate the spines on where the object lands, distracting the bulb for a moment. You will then slowly begin to do wide shuffles away from the bulb. If possible, throw another object when you are certain you are a fair enough distance away. just to be safe. Continue until you are completely sure you are out of harm's way. You may come out unscathed, but don't be too obnoxious, or you will be a harvester's next meal.
Was the photographer next meal? How do you
Next
get the
up
picture
is
out?
the host.
The what?
The host of influence.
Who is
The host
that?
of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event. Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease. The host is a semi-humanoid looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics. The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement. The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck, which houses a slit in the front used for feeding. On the host's
How does
back
it get his
is a
food,
mound
though?
of pores.
He can't move.
Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within host's body, by being fired into the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs.
I will.
Luckily, the host is rare, only
Yes.
found in North America. Obtaining info
Why
about the
are
host
we
is
so-
very risky.
Why
and
don't we get
daunting
everybody?
task. This is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one. The spores released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances.
Wow.
If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them.
Wow.
An infected
Airborne?
organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination. Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles. If you, or someone you know show these symptoms, contact poison control or emergency services. After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection,
They
the
die?
organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk.
What? No,
The
no, no, no,
direction
no.
the infected
No more
will
of that.
walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual. If the infected
Stop,
makes
stop,
their way
stop.
to the host,
No,
they
we're
will
not doing
kneel
this no
down
more.
in
Stop.
front of it, expose
Stop.
their vital organs, and the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps.
Wow, so his
However,
food just
if
walks
an
to him.
infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal.
Nice.
If a host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location.
What?
Their scarce numbers and the hazard of being
He
around
can
one
move?
makes getting info about the host very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs.
I can tell.
Next, the monoliths.
Oh no. I know that one
The
too, y'all.
monoliths.
I seen that before.
The monolith is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972, in the area of.
What area?
There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter. This ring of monoliths surrounds.
Stop. I need to know so I can stay away.
The monolith is a Titanic-sized being, measuring roughly 120 meters in height.
Oh, heck no.
Each monolith
Oh,
has
heck
2
no.
trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso.
Look at him!
The creature itself
That's a
is made of
Siren Hayes
hundreds of
skin,
thousands
all
of
Pillar
meaty
Chase too.
strands, tightly woven together to form the structure. These strands end at the neck, fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith where arms would be, there are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground. At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away. What the monoliths do is simply stand and do nothing. The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in
Dude, why are you doing
during this period, they were extremely aggressive. When the group of
Oh my gosh.
were making their way to the city, the monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out.
Dang.
When military vehicles were dispatched, once they got close enough top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity. Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature.
And did they take it down? What is this?
Although damaged, it regenerated at great speed and resumed its stance unscathed.
This thing got
Eventually,
fast
the area has been
regenerative
fenced off
abilities.
and is now
Like, oh my
restricted
gosh!
to all. Ever since, the monolith stands silently, now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings. And finally, the last creature
It's very
on this
rare,
list
though.
is...
Huh?
The Singularity is an orb comprised of a dark-colored mineral with hints of luminous colors within its core. The Singularity is estimated to be 1 meter in diameter. The orb has several unique qualities that are not well understood. The Singularity typically can be found suspended in air by an unseen force. There are also a variety of reading that is...
Bro, I'm getting chills, bro. Stop. Who's in the background? Hi. Who is that?
Things like magnetic fields, energy signatures, and other pattern-like signals released by the Singularity. The population of these creatures is unknown. Almost all info about the Singularity is hidden or confiscated by officials. We were only able to receive one classified document about the Singularity being held by...
Stop!
marvelous and majestic world
you,
that
sir.
exists today. It's
Please
as
stay.
extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
Oh, that last one must be OP, boy. They didn't even give us nothing on it. And you heard him. He say it's rare to find anything about it. More to come. Why? Shout out Darian. My goodness. Wow. My stomach hurts, yo. Alright, well that was Vita Carnis. And I learned more about the Vita Carnis family. They're all pretty scary in their own ways. Some are harmless, some are very not. And they all seem to be very much into North America, which really sucks. So I think I'm screwed, but I'm trying my absolute best to stay safe. One like equals one prayer.